All right, so I went into the Fear footage expecting to watch 1 and 2 back to back. Now these are extremely ultra low budget films. I was told that the first one was made for like $1,000 and that included like certain things that weren't even part of the film. So I was like, "Oh wow, so this movie was made for nothing." There's a lot of movies like this that are like found footage style movies, and when I see they have like $100,000 budget or something, I'm like, "Where the hell did that money go?" I don't understand. Like typically these movies, like I don't understand why they cost anything to make. Like if you have a fucking camera and you have some friends that will read dialogue, I legitimately don't understand why the movie would cost literally any money at all. $0 and 0 cents. Like there's so many found footage movies that I watch that I'm like, how? Now this one incorporates some like um, effects in it, like visual effects and whatnot. They're not good visual effects, but there are visual effects. So they have to have somebody work on that. But if you were a filmmaker and you knew how to do those, you could do those for free. I mean, I guess if you were to put in the production value of how much your editing software and stuff cost, then maybe the movie costs something. But if you already have that stuff, I just don't understand how movies like this supposedly cost any money. Now, this is an anthology VHS type style film. This is 100%, I don't want to say a rip off, but in the same vein of something like the VHS franchise. This officer, the premise of the wraparound is awesome. Best part of the movie by far for me. This officer responds to a 911 call from a bunch of people in a neighborhood where a house burnt down or something years and years ago, and all these neighbors start calling into the police department and saying the house is back. The house is back. It can't be there. It's just back, like a ghost house. I think that's so fucking cool. I think that's such a great concept. Like the police are called and everyone's like, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but like I have a neighbor whose house burned down and it's back. Like I just went outside and it's just there. That'd be trippy, right? Can you imagine if you walk outside and it's like there's a burnt lot and you know it to be there for years, and then like one night you just walk out and that house that you remember from before is just there again? Your brain would explode. It'd be so scary. It would be mind melting. So they send this officer out, and the officer goes in and he investigates. And so he looks through the house, and when he does, he finds random VHS tapes, and he pops them in and he watches them, and that's what ends up being the segments of this 3-part anthology series with this wraparound, with a very cool idea for the wraparound. Now, the problem with the film for me personally, and I hate to not say good things about these ultra low budget movies where I know like the directors and stuff watch these kinds of things typically, but I'm not going to not give my honest opinion. And I feel like some press is better than none, right? Either people are talking about your movie or not, so any review is better than no review, I suppose. And I will watch the second one at some point. I do want to watch. I want to give it a chance, but I wasn't big on any of the segments. All 3 of them were just super, super uninteresting, very uninspired. The first one's about a kid who's afraid of clowns, and he has a camera and he's going around and he's filming this clown in his house he thinks that he sees, and his mom's telling him to go to bed. The acting, of course, is exactly what you expect. It's probably the director's friends or something, so don't expect anything from that. But that's not typically a knock of a film like this for me. You expect that kind of shit going in here, as long as they get creative, crafty, clever with the story elements, or the way that they film scare sequences, or anything really. I mean, just kind of give me something new, give me something clever, give me something to go off of that I haven't seen before, or maybe haven't seen that version of that thing before. And this film just doesn't really do that in any way, except for that wraparound idea of the house just appearing out of nowhere, which I really did like. I can honestly say that I didn't really enjoy anything else about the movie. That was it. The concept of that house just kind of reappearing was the only thing that I enjoyed. Now, my friend Paul Schunk, who's like the hardcorest of hardcore film, found footage films, this guy fucking loved this, and he loved the sequel, and he told me he loved the sequel more, or was it this one more? Sorry, Paul, I can't remember. But whatever. So it has its fans. There's no doubt about it. There's people who like those Bad Ben movies where there's like 7 or 8 of them now. I think the Mandela Effect or something is like the newest one. There's like 8 of them, and then there's the Blackwell Ghost, and there's like 4 or 5 of those damn things. Like these found footage franchises. If you go and look at like these ultra low budget found footage franchises, there's a fuck ton of them, man. These franchises have, and it's because they can make them for like 2 cents and sell them to Amazon for like a few grand or something, and they're like, well, profit. But I feel like if you're gonna make a movie, just try. Like, making a movie isn't good enough to me. If I thought making a movie was good enough for me, I would have made one by now. It's making a good film. And when I say good to me. Good, something that I'm proud of, something that I'm like, I came up with a cool idea. Maybe we didn't have the budget, maybe we didn't have the actors, maybe I didn't have all the right things in place, maybe I should have waited, I don't know, but fuck it, I made it, and I'm really proud of what I put out there. And as long as you can say that, who gives a fuck what a reviewer like me says about your movie? So if you are watching this and you did make this movie, or if you're in this movie or whatever, fuck me. Like, you made a movie, if you're proud of this shit, be fucking proud of it. I personally don't recommend it. I personally didn't like it, but it has its fans, and you should be fucking proud of yourself for making a movie. I personally would just have, in my own personal opinion, I would have just tried to come up with more unique concepts than a kid who sees a clown, or, a guy who's trying to prove to his wife that there's something creepy going on, and then you really don't see anything, and it's just noises, and there's more that can be done. I know it's tough when you don't have a budget, but you just have to really dig deep and come up with something unique. And this film just, honestly, outside of that wraparound idea, it just doesn't have anything to offer unique. But congrats on making a film, regardless. So that's really cool. And I've heard of it, and a lot of people have, so that's awesome. Keep going. Maybe your next one, maybe part 2, I'll be like, this one actually had some cool shit in it. And then maybe part 3 will come out and be even better. Push yourself harder and harder. So, good effort. I just didn't care for it. Adios.